Let's try this one more time. This is part two. As I was saying, the anthology is just really beginning because I still have a little bit more to go. But for now, the subject has been martial art size and style of the martial arts and why I personally think you should or should not take certain styles. I got off on a tangent. I started a new video. Somebody didn't see the goddamn lights. So we're going to pick up from where I was leaving off at the simple fact that, when you are in a controlled environment, you have a bunch of rules that you have to follow by, which is another reason why your size and your skill and the style of martial arts that you take does play a factor. When you are in an uncontrolled environment, your size and your skill and your style also plays a factor. However, reality is a whole different ball game versus what you practice. All right. In practice, everything is practical. Everything is problematic. Everything can be done, and everything can also be causative at the same time. And the reason why I said that it was practical and problematic and causative at the same time is because it is. When you practice, if you're practicing, let's say you go to Tai Chi, so you do push hands, or you're going into snake, in a real fight, you're not going to get the chance to do that. Now, after the fight, like if you're in the UFC and or crane or fucked up ass dragon that I'm doing, because it's actually supposed to be here. So you go into the dragon, or you go into the tiger, or you go into the drunken master. After you fight, cool beans. Reality, you ain't doing none of that shit. This is what's gonna happen. You're gonna be in your fighting move. You're either gonna go backwards or side to side. You're gonna bob and weave. You're going to be able to get everything you need done out of the way before shit goes caca. Okay? And I say this because real fights don't look like Jackie Chan films. Alright? Real fights in the streets don't look like that shit in the UFC. Everyone thinks they're a UFC fighter in a street fight. You have to understand that if you are not trained in a martial art, trying the shit you see on TV in the streets is going to get you fucked up. I did not sugarcoat that for a reason, because it's the truth. If you have not been trained, if you have not been fighting since you were 6 or 7 years old and literally fighting, it's a different ball game. Yeah, if you've never been in a fight a day in your life, you have been blessed. Thank God every day. If you've been fighting since you were 6 years old, like myself, it is not an easy concept to swallow of letting people walk all over top of you. I've been bullied in high school, I've been bullied in grade school, and I was bullied in middle school. And the only reason why I didn't fight those guys was because I've been fighting since I was 6 years old. I can almost guarantee anybody that bullied me in high school, grade school, or middle school, they weren't going to show up to fight me. Because I was going to be able to ruthlessly beat their shit inside out. And why? Because every fucking weekend, every fucking day that my uncles and them felt like it, I'm going to fight. Some people I've apologized to. Some I don't know where they are and I don't give a fuck. I did not get a choice in that matter. Beat them or beat them. Choice is really quite simple when you've been forced to fight. Now back to reality again. At the age I am now, because of what I went through as a child, I know not to make kids fight unless there's a paycheck involved or it's a sporting event like they do in Asia and stuff, because they do have kids as young as 6 years old in the ring. Some younger than that, because I just did a video about a young girl who's like maybe 4, and she's beating up boys. So yeah, and she's a tough girl. I think her name's Leon. I think it's either Leon or Jan. Whatever, she's a badass. Anyway, and she's 4. So, in Asia, they don't really have a whole lot of stigmatism on child abuse that way. Because here in America, we're like, nah, the kids got to be of a certain age to get in the ring. Except for, like, in Taekwondo and shit, because you can have 4-year-olds competing in Taekwondo, but you can't have them competing in Muay Thai. Don't ask. That's just a simple fact here in America. You don't see televised Muay Thai with kids here. But you do see little kids in the full battle rattle for Taekwondo. They got the headgear, they got the shins, the arms, the elbows. I don't know if they have cups, but you see them in full gear going at it. Where over in Asia, fuck gear. We don't need no damn gear. We're just gonna put these kids in the ring and see what happens, and that's pretty much what it does. That's why I found the little 4-year-old kicking ass. It's like, damn. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I would love for that to be my daughter. And the martial artist of me is thinking that, where I don't have kids. So the father of me would be like, I probably want my daughter to have some pads or something, like to protect her face. So, because they didn't have headgear, they had the little some ceremonial crown, but that was it. And they did their little thing, and even the little 4-year-old girl did it. The 4-year-old boy, she beat up a 6-year-old boy, she beat up an 8-year-old boy. The girl was a badass. And she was, like, really short. And I was like, damn. Which goes back to size not really mattering in a fight. But in a controlled environment, they will not really, more or less, it's more about weight versus height and reach. And then your record generally speaks for itself. If you're like 7-0, 7 wins, and most of them by TKOs or KOs, they're going to put you in a guy with the same record or with a pretty close record. Especially if y'all new fighters. Like, all right, so you coming out of the red corner and you've had 20 knockouts and no losses. 20 knockouts, no losses. Your 7-0 opponent, he's newer than you. He's coming in there with 7 knockouts in the first round. So he knows he has to knock you out in the first round or that fight's going to be yours. You coming in, every knockout you've had has been in the 3rd or 4th round, but you got skills and you got power and you got experience over the new guy. But you don't have reach. So now you got to work. Alright? And people will be like, James, I'm watching your video and you're talking about if you ain't got no reach, you got to work. It's bullshit. I'm 5'3". It's not bullshit. If I'm going against anybody 6 feet or higher, hell, if I'm going against anybody 5'7" or higher, I got to work. Alright? Understand that. I got to work. They don't have to work because they have reach. I've got to work because I don't have reach. And if it's a street fight, then I ain't got to work because I know what I'm doing. But if it's a controlled environment, I got to work. I got to do all the work. Why is that? Because if I'm going for the knockout, because I can't hit you in the sternum with an elbow when we tie up, I can't knee you in the throat, I can't do the things that I would do in the streets on you, because it's a controlled environment where I have to follow the rules. I have to hit, jab, I have to kick, knee, but I can only hit you in places solid mass. I can't hit you in sternums. I can't apply pressure points unless I'm putting you in a Fujiwara arm bar or the arm breaker where your arms between my legs and I'm reeling back on you, the shit that I taught my little 6-month-old nephew. Unless I'm doing that kind of shit, I can't go all out on you. That's not going to happen. Now, we're not allowed to eye gouge. We're not allowed to grab, twist, and pull on testicles. We're not allowed to put pressure points on you unless it's in form of the arm bar behind the back, when you got your arm twisted like the cop's grip. I'm not allowed to do any of that shit. I am allowed to forearm smash you. I am allowed to elbow you. I am allowed to hit you damn near everywhere except for your testicles and your throat. Which gives you a tactical advantage because what I was taught was if a person can't breathe, they can't hurt you. No matter how big they are. Which does not help in a controlled environment where they're not going to find somebody 5'3" in my weight. They'll probably find someone 5'7", 5'8" in my weight, and he'll have reach, which means I'll have to work. Understand that. Size is going to count in a controlled environment because I'm going to have to do all the work, which means I better have good endurance and I better be tough as nails. Because if he's going to be throwing body shots, I'm going to be able to have to take that shit because I'm going to have to work. Where if I'm throwing body shots and he's got range, he can just keep getting back. He can evade all damn day, making me overexert myself to make me work. See, this is the thing about fighting. This is the thing about when your body size plays a factor in a fight. So for everyone watching right here, right now, on YouTube, who are looking at me and saying, James, you're full of shit. Ask a big guy, has he ever tangled with a little guy? Ask him how much energy does it take for him to go after the little guy versus how much energy he can make the little guy expand by making the little guy come after him. The golden rule of a fight, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to piss off any martial artist on the planet, if not every martial artist on the planet, and if you got a problem with that, it's your problem, not mine. Don't come looking for trouble. A person who has to do the most moving can get gassed real fast. Understand that. In a controlled environment, the guy who does not have the endurance is going to be the guy who's going to drop unless he's a heavy-handed motherfucker. Alright? If you're a heavy-handed motherfucker and you're gassed, you're going to notice that by the time the fucking second minute into the first round. You have 3 5-minute rounds, or you have 5 3-minute rounds. I don't remember how it works. But either way, the guy who does not have the endurance, let's say you're a good fighter, but you're a smoker. You're a good fighter, but you eat anything and everything under the sun. You don't watch your diet. You don't check your carbs. You don't do the shit you're supposed to do. And you're getting into a ring with somebody who's of equal size and stature, but they're healthier. They eat leaner foods. They work out. They carefully count their carbs. They train to where it's comfortable versus they train to where it is painful. They know what they're doing. And you're going to fight this person. You need to have a trick or two up your sleeve just in case. Because endurance is everything. If you're gassed in the first 3 minutes of a fucking 3-minute fight, that next round could be your last round. It's just that simple. The bigger you are, the more mass you have to move. If you're fighting a little guy and you're playing chicken, for those who don't know what that is, that means the little guy is evading. He's moving all around. He's not staying in one spot. And you're swinging for the fences, which means you're putting everything you have into that swing. And he's evading. He's not even really trying to counter-strike. He's just like getting out of the way. Every time you throw a jab, he's moving. Throw a jab. Now you got him because you have range, because you're a tiny bit taller. You may have him in speed, but he's got good defenses. He can block. You know, he's got ways of keeping you off of him. He's 10 pounds lighter than you. That 10 pounds is going to make the difference in endurance if you are not in shape. If you are not working out the way you should. If you're overexerting yourself, you're going to be in that fight and your ass is going to get gassed. And when you get gassed and that son of a bitch decides, okay, I got him up on the ropes now, he's tired. Not that you're against ropes, you're in a cage. He's tired, I got him. All I got to do is score. You know, I can beat him because he hasn't hit me once during the whole fight. So I can hit him one time, bell rings, I got the point. Boom. You know, I got him right before the bell rings. Tagged him. Tagged him and jumped out. Bell rings. He can hit me after the bell, but that's not going to count. He's going to be pissed off, but it's not going to count. You can win a fight that way on the point system. Everybody's going to be like, oh, well, he's played chicken the whole fight. But every time he gets close to the end of the match, he tags the guy. 3-point victory. No. It can happen. Don't think that it can't. It hasn't happened, but it can. If you're going on a point system, it's slightly happened to some of the Taekwondo videos that you watch on YouTube. Just watch and you'll see white flag, you know, end of the round, red flag, you know, depending on the color of the jersey or whatever. You know, this corner or that corner, they'll score the points, you know, because you can win by points by just barely, as long as you don't get touched and you touch the guy, you get a goddamn point. Everybody know how the fucking point system work. If you don't know how the point system work, you've been living under a fucking rock. Now, points work differently for each event because the UFC point system does not work the same way as the Taekwondo tournament point system. You know, plus, in the UFC, most guys aren't even counting points. They're fucking trying to get a knockout or a tap out or whatever. But when you are in those environments, this is when your size and your stuff need to be paid attention to. Because you're both 6 feet, you're 170 pounds, your opponent's 160 pounds. You've got more reach, he's healthier. He likes to play chicken and tap. You know, for those who don't know what that is, he likes for you to chase after him because it's easier for him to do a judo move and get a point. Versus y'all both doing the same shit and trying to just go for the fucking point. You know, because some fighters fight like that. Some fighters, honestly, truly to God, play chicken until they have to make that score before the time runs out. So, bing, they got the point. No. And one of them quick-eyed judges be like, point, bell rings, you're done. Then you got another round, same shit, point, you're done. Same shit, point, you're done. Fight's over. No. And it happens. You may not think that it can happen, but it happens. It happens in Taekwondo fights all the time. So you just go back and watch them. And you'll see, if you slow down the camera, you'll see that point system, you can tap a person and get a point and just avoid them for the whole round, and win that shit. Yeah, go ahead, call it bullshit, that's fine. But the whole point of the matter is, in the controlled environment, the only reason your size matters is when it's either going to work for you or work against you. Where in the streets, your size isn't going to matter because the better fighter is going to win the fight. Or, let me rephrase that, the more prepared fighter is going to win the fight. Or that guy who got really, really fucking lucky. Alright? So when you're fighting, you're sitting there and you're doing your all. You're in a controlled environment. You're 6'2", he's 6'2". He's got a 2-inch reach over you. He can play chicken. He can dance around you all day and butterfly tap you, and it'll count as a point. 9 times out of 10 in the UFC, that shit ain't gonna happen. Because these guys, when that bell rings, they go in full combat mode and go for the goal. Where when you're doing Taekwondo or old school ISK, it was all about these points to get the championship and all that crap. So, you have to know what you're getting yourself into in a fight. In the UFC, you're in a cage. And supposedly you're not allowed to use the cage, which I'm going to call bullshit on because I have seen people use the cage, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the big black guy, I can't think of his name, he has dreadlocks, and I'm watching Big John McCarthy, and they have actually did nothing sometimes when people have used the cage. It's like, I thought you couldn't use the fucking cage. Because, they'd be in a roll, they use the cage to roll over and win the fight. When the other guy has them, he has them like dead to rights. Next thing you know, the guys use the cage and roll over and then change from full guard to side mount. Next thing you know, the guy's in the arm bar tapping out. But when the guy had him and he didn't use the cage, the guy rolled to the cage and then rolled over and got the guy in an arm bar and tapped him out. And those things do happen. So, like I said, you're in a controlled environment. In a controlled environment, you have rules. When it comes to those rules of engagement are very important. You are going to go over the rules twice. Understand that. You're in a controlled environment. You're going to have that talk in the locker room, and the ref is going to give it to you one more time in the ring. And if you don't believe that, you can go ask professional fighters. They'll tell you. You're going to have the talk about no hitting in the crotch, no eye gouging, none of that shit. However, as we all know, some people in the UFC still cheat and poke people in the eye. Just like wrestling, some people poke people in the eye. It's just a fact of life. And the thing with that is, your size and your reach and whatever style you're going to do, it's not going to be the style you practice with at home. It's not going to be the style that you train with when you're practicing in the gym. Alright? When you're training in the gym, you might do the punching and the kicks, but you're not going to bust into snake, crane, tiger, dragon. You're not going to do none of that shit in the gym. And if you do it in the gym, it'll probably just be something that you're doing to horseplay. But you're not going to literally do that when you get into the UFC ring. You're not going to hit here and go. Because when that bell rings, this shit don't mean nothing. You're going to get hit in the face. It's like you hit the dragon position. This is a block for a kick that's coming, or a punch that's coming into your sternum. Because chi power begins in the center. Anyway, if you are into that kind of thing, this is so that you can do a twisting dragon pull and elbow. 9 times out of 10, if someone's throwing this punch and you catch them this way, you should probably break their elbow and then strike instead of twisting dragon pull and then ridge hand or elbow. Now, in my next video, I'm going to talk about do's and don'ts of martial arts. Because I wanted to put that out there so when I watch this back, I know what I'm talking about. But before we do that, I want to finish off this thing about your size, your skill, and your style. Alright? Your size. 5'7" and down, you have more options because some kicks are specifically made for shorter people. Wing Chun, Gung Fu, Wushu, if you look at most of those guys, they're under 6 feet. You do have some that are 6 feet, But those are the commodities. All right. Now, when you look at people who do more Japanese or Thai fighting based martial arts, they're a little taller. They go anywhere from 6 feet to 6'2" to 7 feet tall. But that's because evolution evolves people. Now your weight, I'm not gonna really say that that's a factor. I'm gonna say it's mostly about your height versus your weight, because your weight, Sammo Hung is living proof that just because you're huge does not mean you can't move like a cat. And I don't mean you need to be just a sumo wrestler. If you watch anything with Sammo Hung in it, he has proven that big guys get down. And Sammo Hung is one of my heroes and my idol. Shout out to Sammo Hung. I would love to work with you one day, so give me a job. Anyway, you too, Jackie. And Jet, if you ever come out of retirement, which I'm sure he will, because he's younger than Jet. He's younger than Jackie, so he should not have been retired. But that's a personal note. If you look at a lot of Thai fighters, if you look at Tony Jaa, he's pretty tall. Yeah, he's like 6'2", I think. I won't swear to it. I know he's over the 5'11" range. And his stuff is he does Muay Thai. And so you have to realize that in China for a long time people were short. As evolution came, they started getting into the 6-foot range between the late 60s, early 70s into the 90s. But before Yao Ming, there was Bolo. And Bolo Yangi is not very tall. He's like maybe 5'9", 5'10", maybe 5'11". I'll give him that just to be on the safe side, because I know he's not 5'3". But Van Damme's 5'7". So Bolo and Van Damme are running even. And Bolo's big. Yeah, he's like super big, all muscle. If you go check out Enter the Dragon, and then you go check out him from the Van Damme movies, you'll see he's big. Yeah, he's like big. He's slimmed down now because of old age, but when his younger days, he was fucking huge. I mean, he was like one of the hugest Asians ever before Yao Ming and them started popping out. He was just fucking huge. So, size plays a factor in damn near everything. And he got a lot of roles just because he was such a huge Asian man. Yeah, he's like, man, we've never seen a big Asian man straight out of China from this fucking body size. And now if you look at the Chinese and the Koreans now who build up, shit, those guys are big, dude. And it might just be because I'm 5'3", but those guys are fucking huge. Like, straight huge. I follow a guy on Instagram who's every bit bigger than Bolo. I mean, this dude is solid as fuck. I can't pronounce his name, so I can't shout him out. But he's a big guy. I follow him. You should follow him too. He has a yellow hoodie, and I want that shit so bad. It's a badass hoodie. Anyway, moving on, because that was another personal note. When you see Bolo and you see Sammo, and these guys are not 6 feet, but you see how well they move. And you see that most of their styles are Chinese styles. A lot of Chinese styles was made for shorter people, where a lot of Japanese styles were made for larger people. But in effect, if you want the truth, I say these things because it's my personal opinion that if you are under 5'7" or 5'11", you should mostly stick to Chinese styles. But that's just my personal opinion. I wish I was 5'7", but I'm happy being 5'3", because gravity is closer to my friend than anybody who's 6'4". Alright? So if you're 6'4" and you gotta swing a whole foot down, the things I can do to you with gravity. Now, if you're stronger than me, I have a problem. I'm not going to be able to flip you and put you in that arm bar. Not offhand. It'd have to have some momentum, so you'd have to be coming down really fast because it'll throw you off balance. Then I can do the shit that Oscar and everyone else does, where they wrap themselves around you and flip over you and then put you in the arm bar. Now, here's the thing on that. If you're about the size of the Rock, we got a real slim chance of that happening. Alright? We have a real slim chance, because here's reality. For the movie purposes and for entertainment purposes, yeah, that shit'll work. In reality, I'm not going to be able to do that, because I'm like $120, and you might just be able to lift my ass back up and drop me down. Now, if I got Kung Fu grip, when you do that and I reel back, I could break your fucking arm at the elbow, against my thigh, because that's what I was taught to do before I got into the Army. But here's the thing on that. I'm also probably going to get the wind knocked out of me when you slam me on the goddamn ground. You have to live in reality in a fight. You are going to get hit, and you are going to feel pain. And it doesn't matter if you're super big or super small. Pain hurts. So in my personal opinion, as I end this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it thoroughly, size matters, skills matter, and the style you choose matters. Now here's where the cons come in. The bigger you are, the more muscle mass you have to use. So your body mass index, if you're 200 pounds going against a guy who's like 125, 130, you have more muscle mass to move. And it doesn't matter if you eat lean, it doesn't matter if you're healthy. What matters is your endurance. So if you're 240 pounds and you're 6'6", you're going against a guy who's 5'3", who's like 125 pounds, who's faster, who has more endurance because he eats lean also. He takes care of himself, and like you, y'all both hit the gym 3 times a day. But you left off one little tiny factor. Who has the better skill? Who has more knowledge of their body? Not the enemy's body, but their own body. See, if you don't know your own body, that's where knowing other people's bodies isn't going to do you any good. I know my weaknesses. I know where I can take a hit, where I can't. Most people can't say that because they've probably never been hit in places where they can't take a hit. And for the most part, a lot of us can't take a hit to the nuts. A lot of us can't take a hit to the throat. A lot of us can't take a hit to the sternum. And yes, the kickboxing exhale to protect, it does work. The problem is you can't do it simultaneously when somebody's totally ramming their stomach into your fucking, your fist into their fucking stomach. I said it wrong, but they're ramming their fist into your stomach. You're not going to keep going, you're not going to do that because they're not just going to keep hitting you there. They're going to hit you here. They're going to come across the face. They're going to do something other than the same shit. Now, if it's like filmmaking where they rapid punch you into the gut, if they're hitting you fast enough, you're probably not going to feel that shit till tomorrow. But at the same time, for all movie purposes, you're going to feel the shit for the movies. In real life, adrenaline is going to be surging through your body so fast that you're not going to feel that shit unless something gets broken. So then you still might not feel it until after the fight's over. But you have to understand how your body works. And the bigger you are and the more muscle mass you have to move, you don't want to fight someone super small. You don't, because you might not be able to grab them where you can actually use what you have against them. You have to understand how your body works. You can do crane all damn day while you're training. You can do dragon, you can do tiger, you can do the drunken master sway, you can do capoeira. Things change in fights. In real fights, your muscle mass can be your best enemy or your worst enemy. And the reason why I say best enemy, because you know how to work your body. But if you don't know how to work your body, your best enemy became your worst enemy because you don't know how to work your body. But if you don't know how your shit can be broken up, or if your shit can be broken up, you are a fool. Here's the last thing I have to say on that. A lot of people, when they teach you how to fight, if you're wearing gloves, it's fine. But in a street fight, you don't have gloves. So when you're in the environment that is under control, like UFC ring, Taekwondo ring, something like that, where people are paying to watch you, you can hit as hard as you want. Because that's kind of what the coaches tell you to go for the knockout. In a street fight, this is my personal advice, do not, under any circumstances, try to hit everyone with everything you have, because if you hit them and they don't have a glass jaw and you break your hand, you're one weapon down. If this is your dominant hand and you break it in a fight and you're not good with your left, well, you got 2 options. Be good with your feet or beat feet. I'm James Williams Jr. Come for habit number 2. Be seeing you. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.